I'm going to predict, or this is my prediction for game or test 2 at Eden Park. Oh man, it's going to be a huge game. As always, I'd love for you guys to get involved. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of my predicted side. There's a few. I've thrown in the kitchen sink for a couple selections. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Love to hear from you guys. What would you change? What would your team look like? Let me know in the comments. And while you're there, hit that subscribe. But let's get into it. So Razor, I think Razor will stick with pretty much the same team. Obviously, there's a forced change at 9 because TJ Pernara has the worst luck. Man, I really hope that isn't a bad or serious injury. So that is a forced change. All Blacks have released that information that TJ won't be available for this game or the second test against England at Eden Park. So there's a forced change there already, but I have tweaked it a little bit and I'll give you my reasons as to why. It's mainly because the All Blacks struggled at this area of this part of the game, and it's the lineouts. And I made a change around that. Again, as always, let me know what you guys think in the comments. So here's my team. So my predicted team for game 2 or test 2, whatever you want to call it, at Eden Park for the All Blacks. So Ethan de Groot, Cody Taylor, Tyrell Lomax up front. Tupou Vaa'i and Patrick Tuipulotu 4 and 5, my second row. You're probably thinking, anyway, I'm getting on with it. I'm just going to get on with that. Scott Barrett, Dalton Papali'i, and Ardie Savea, my back row. You might have noticed something there. Finlay Christie at 9, Damien McKenzie 10, Jordy Barrett and Rico Ioane in the centres. Then I got Mark Talia, Sevu Reece, and Stephen Perofeta, the back 3. And for my impact, Almoa, Tonga Fasi, Newell, Jacobson. That's this kind of the same that was from last week. Then I've thrown Wallace Atiti in there. Cortez Ratima will come onto the bench, obviously because of TJ. Anton Leonard-Brown and Beauden Barrett. Again, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'm going to give you my reasons as to why. If you want, I'm not really I'm not too much of a stats guy. I'm still looking for a page that kind of gives you players' stats throughout the game or after the game, like run meters, kick meters, all that kind of stuff, offloads, tackles. If you do know a page, let me know in the comments so I can also suss that out a bit. But I'm not really a stats guy. That's not really why I would play or why I pick players. I just go off what I think about the game and what's best for the team and how they want to play. All right, for the front row, I'm sticking the same, man. Other than that first scrum that they got penalised, and there was a few timing issues with the scrums. Again, guys, scrums, I played fly-off my whole rugby career, so I'm not really one with the scrums. I don't know too much about the dark arts there, but they did well. Lomax, Cody Taylor, and De Groot scrummed really well. Other than that first scrum and a few issues with timing, they pommeled that English scrum, and so they didn't do anything to lose their spot, put it like that. And they were good in and around the park as well, like both sides of the ball. Strong tack. De Groot made a few massive hits, strong ball carries, good at ruck time, so they stay there. In the second row, so here's where I've made a few changes. So Tupou Vaa'i comes in and Tuipulotu is there to start in the row. I feel like All Blacks struggled with the lineouts. They struggled with their own ball. They didn't really put any heat on England's ball. Itoje got in front of them a couple of times. So I think, he's a proper handful. And even with these changes I've made, he could still be a handful. He's a world-class lock. He reads like experience lineouts. That's Itoje. He loves it. So he could still be a handful there, even though I've made these changes. So he disrupted All Blacks ball a number of times. So with that in mind, and the fact that Scott Barrett has played on the side before, I don't know, it probably hasn't worked too well, but I'm going for shock factor. I'm changing it up a bit. So I'm going with that. And I think so Scott Barrett on the side, then Vai and Tuipulotu in the row, you've got three like proper, genuine line-out options and guys that can put pressure on England's ball as well. So then in the back row, I've gone with Scott Barrett, Dalton Papali'i, and Ardie Savia. Look, like again, this will probably not happen, and they might keep Sammy Penny-Finau there and then keep Barrett in the row. But just to change it up a bit, may help with those lineouts a bit, and you're not losing much. Like Scott Barrett still gets into his work. He's like an extra flank on the field anyway. And Tupou Vaa'i, when he came on, I mean, he won the ruck right at the end of the game. You know what you're getting from Tuipulotu: strong ball carries, strong with ball in hand, strong tackles, and good at lineouts as well. And then you're obviously looking at Vaa'i and Scott Barrett to play the full 80. So then if he gets subbed, so if Tuipulotu gets subbed off, Jacobson comes on, or Wallace Satiti comes on, and then Barrett would move back into the second row. So there's that, but like they could possibly go with Finau staying there, like keep the same forward pack, or change Finau out for Luke Jacobson, so that they have kind of three fetchers or three guys disrupting England's ruck. Because I thought England did well at ruck time, so if they can kind of counteract that. So who knows? Papali'i and Ardie, you know what you're getting there, man. They picked themselves. They were outstanding last week, so they stay there. 9 and 10, obviously 9, the force change. So Finlay Christie will come into my starting lineup. D-Mac stays. He missed a few kicks off the tee, got timed out once, but general play was good. His catches under the high ball when he fell back on defense, outstanding, man. So, but they'll probably look to kick a little bit more in the second test, just in the first half especially, just to play down the other side of the field and apply pressure onto England like that way. I think they try to play the ball a little too often in that first test, so they might look at that option. 12 and 13, same as last week. These guys didn't do anything to get them dropped, put it like that. But they played well as well. Good on both sides of the ball, strong with ball in hand, strong defense. Geordie's boot was huge when they needed it, and Rico's really, really good. I think they'll step it up again this test. Rico at his home ground as well. Let's bang, baby. And then the back three, they were fantastic, man. Sevu Reece scored try. Perofeta set up a try last week, and Talia, ton of run meters, always getting in and around the ball, always involved around the ruck area, like being that extra forward, picking up and going. Same with Sevu Reece. So again, they also didn't do anything to be dropped, but they were good in the same way. And then for my impact, stays the same. They were good when they all came on. Amoa made impact. Tuangafasi, Newell, strong in the scrums. And then I'm bringing in Satiti here for a potential debut with Sammy Penny-Finau dropping out of my matchday squad from last week. I just don't think he lived up to what was expected of him, like the big hits, strong ball carries. I didn't see enough of that. Like the first time he carried the ball, he got bundled into touch. So again, like they could stick with him there, but I just think let's try something else, and you're not losing a lot, if that makes sense. So Satiti to make his debut, I feel like off the bench, and that'll be fantastic for him. Strong ball carry, just that point of difference with ball in hand, man. I think that's something they might have lacked a little bit. The All Blacks did against us, because England's defense is really strong. So if you can have a game break or a defensive line breaker with brute force, Satiti's your man for that. And then Ratima will come in on the bench for 9, obviously forced there because of TJ's injuries. And then the same backs to cover, Anton Lienert-Brown, Beauden Barrett. Again, those guys didn't do, if anything, Beauden Barrett did almost enough to start this next week. But Perofeta was great as well, so can't really do that. Anton Lienert-Brown, good, can cover a few spots. So that's my team, or my predicted starting All Blacks team for Test 2. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hit that subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.